Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name's Sierra and I'm currently 35 weeks pregnant. I share all of my pregnancy journey on this channel, and today I actually have a video that I never thought I'd be making. Last week, 1 week ago to the day, I went into early labor, which was a little bit scary. We were able to stop it and we were able to get everything back to normal, but I had to go to the hospital. There was a lot of craziness that happened, and I didn't get a chance to film much of it in the moment because it was so sudden and unexpected. So I wanted to fill you all in now, answer some questions because I know I've been gone for about a week now, and just explain to you everything that happened, because this is a situation that I didn't think would happen to me, but it can happen during any pregnancy for any reason. So this all started last Thursday, actually, at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Around then, I started experiencing some dull cramping. Now, this didn't immediately set alarm bells off for me. I've had uterine irritability in the past, which, if you didn't know, uterine irritability is where your uterus, really, as it sounds, just kind of gets irritable and crampy and uncomfortable. For me, this looked like every minute to minute and a half I was having a hardening of the uterus or a Braxton Hicks-like contraction, but mine came with pain. And so this would happen, but it wasn't happening far enough apart or happening with enough vigor to really be making me open up or do anything that I wasn't supposed to be doing. So this isn't something I worried about before. Now, I assumed it was this. I just went on with my day, and I noticed that one of the things was that I was having these Braxton Hicks-like contractions, but they were several minutes apart. So about 15, 20 minutes apart. I didn't realize at the moment that they were regular. And this is my first tip, is if you're having any contractions like that and you notice you're having more than two, start timing them. Because for me, I mean, when they're 15, 20 minutes apart, you don't always realize that you're having so many of them and that they're regularly spaced out. But when you zoom back and look at the app, you're able to really see, oh my gosh, I'm having them regularly. I'm having a lot of them. Which again, for later on, 37 weeks, if you get that kind of contraction thing going on, it's 15, 20 minutes apart. Frank wants to join. Down, Frank, sit. All right, brief interruption by my dog. He's been super clingy as of late. In fact, even clingier as of since I've had that early labor experience. So he'll be in the corner for the rest of this video. I didn't really realize what was going on until I zoomed out and I looked at the greater picture. And in that time period, I was actually making dinner for my husband and I went to grab his dinner plate, and one of them made me double over in discomfort. I'm not going to say pain because I don't really relate pain and contractions. It's not an association I want in my mind as I prepare for a natural birth. However, there was a lot of discomfort, a lot of pressure going on, and so that immediately made me take a step back. And I remembered hearing that if you rest and it doesn't go away, then it's labor and you should be worried. So I did everything I could. I actually ran a bath and got in the bathtub and stayed in there for, I would say, about 3 hours. Now, during that time period at the night, it seemed like my contractions just went away. Looking back, I don't think that they did. I think they actually were going, but it felt so much better in the tub that those early labor contractions went back to just feeling mildly crampy, and it was something that I could push out of my mind. When I got out and went to the bed, however, they came back, and it was turning into maybe a 2 to 3 on the pain scale. I wasn't really able to lay down. I was going on all fours and stretching out, doing child's pose, anything I could. And this continued all the way until about midnight when I finally laid down and I was able to fall asleep. I kind of told myself if I was able to fall asleep, then it wasn't that bad and it probably wasn't labor, and I'll wake up and I'll be fine. This is denial. If you're in my situation, if you have any of the before symptoms and you are less than 37 weeks, please go get checked or call your midwife. I didn't do that, and I actually woke up in the morning to the feeling of having another contraction. So at that time I realized, oh shoot, this never went away. I just slept through it because it was mild. So I immediately called my doctor. and their office told me they could squeeze me in at 2 o'clock that day if I make it that far. But if I'm feeling like I need to go get checked, if they get more regular, get more consistent, or if I have more than 6 in an hour, go straight to the hospital to be monitored. So I get off the phone with them, and instantly I start timing my contractions with my contraction timer. I use Freya, which is actually amazing because it kind of soothes you in between. It's a mix of a hypnobirthing app and a contraction timing app. And you can turn off the hypnobirthing part of it if you want, or if you start to get a little annoyed with it like I did at certain points. But it works both for either way. So I completely recommend that one. There are other free options available for you out there, and I'm sure some mamas would love to drop them in the comments below. I started timing them, and as I zoomed out and looked at it, I realized they were each 10 minutes apart. So I was having about 6 right in that little line right there, an hour. And so immediately I called my mom. I talked with her through it because, of course, my mama is she's my saving grace with that kind of stuff. She keeps me calm. And I realized, looking at the contraction timer, they were beginning to be about 8 minutes apart. So I was having a little more than that 6, and that little more than that 6 turned into 8 in an hour. And then that 8 in an hour turned into 9 in an hour. And so by noon, we just packed up our stuff, had lunch, and went down to the hospital. Pardon the rainbows on me. I have a prism going right now in my kitchen, but I am about to go to the doctor to be checked because I have been having Braxton Hicks all night. Hopefully they're just Braxton Hicks. They are getting painful, but I will keep you updated later. I just wanted to check in here and show what's been going on. I'm still not dropped or anything like that, so we'll see. In this time, I was resting. I drank about 3 of my Stanley cups full of water, so I had maybe 90 ounces of water in me, super hydrated. I made sure to lay on my left side. I tried walking. I tried all the things that you can try to make these go away. But none of it worked, so we went to the hospital. We showed up at the L&D ER. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of letters. The labor and delivery emergency room to be triaged and checked in. And immediately they took me back. I got hooked up to an IV. We started monitoring my contractions. And at this point, I was kind of telling myself, these aren't contractions. I'm probably going to show up at the ER and they're going to tell me I'm crazy and that these are Braxton Hicks and laugh at me being a first-time mom. And these are all very anxious thoughts that are not grounded in reality. Let me be the first to tell you, those nurses do not care if you come in with a million false alarms. They would rather you do that than not come in and have something happen to your baby. And also, how are you supposed to know if you've never had a baby before what contractions feel like? So have grace for yourself there. Even if you have a false alarm, it's okay. We all do at some point. But turns out it was not a false alarm. We started looking and the contractions were actually going off and climbing and descending and all of that within 10 minutes of each other, which is what I thought I was feeling. So part of my brain was like, yes, we actually knew what was going on. I'm in tune with my body. And then the other part was that, oh shoot, okay, I'm in early labor. That's not good. 34-week baby. This is actually what I was high risk for. However, I didn't see it coming. I have a very healthy pregnancy other than that risk, and my baby's a good size. Everything was looking normal. I stay very active, and it still happened. And so this is something that I just think everybody should be aware of the signs of for sure. When they came back into the room, they actually came in with a medicine for me. This is normally used to treat high blood pressure and heart attacks and things like that, but it can also be used to stop labor. So they gave me these 2 pills, I took them, laid down, I had the IV medicine going to hydrate me, and they ran a bunch of tests. The only thing they could find is I had the very, very early beginning signs of a UTI developing. So we did get me on an antibiotic for that. But the lucky thing is that it was so early in labor. I'd only dilated to about 1 centimeter, a little more than 1 centimeter by the end, and we were able to stop it in its tracks. The nice thing is when you throw your body off its rhythm in early labor like that, a lot of times your body will stop doing natural contractions. And that is exactly what my body did. The next day I was very achy, very sore, very uncomfortable, but I found that just laying down and resting and taking it easy was really, really nice for remedying that. I also found that because of all the IV fluids, my hands actually swelled, specifically the hand that my IV was in. You can still see there's a little poke right there from it, but it had swelled about double the size of my other hand. And so I spent a lot of that night trying to elevate my hand and keep this side of my body upright so that the swelling went down quite a bit, because I already was so swollen with pregnancy, but the swelling that it was combined from the IV fluids made it even worse. I did have some residual contractions for the following maybe 4 to 5 days. However, they've tapered off by now. I'm 35 weeks as of yesterday, and I'm feeling a lot better. The nice thing is, at this point, now that I'm 35 weeks, we're at a zone where it's a little more okay. If baby were to come early, my baby's estimated to be about 5 pounds, 10 ounces right now. So they're definitely not too small to come early. The crazy thing is, thinking about it, having a baby that's within the 5 to 8 pound range, if you are pregnant, if you're in the 35, 36, 37 week mark, your baby can fit in newborn clothes once they're past 5 pounds, which blows my mind. It blows my mind. I keep looking at her little newborn onesies, his or her. We still don't know the gender, but right now I'm looking over at the crib and we have all the birth bag things laid out, and we have the girl onesie on the top. So we have all those onesies, but if it is a girl, we have this little onesie with all the flowers on it and everything, and I just keep thinking, they can wear that right now. They're that big, which is crazy. But when you have a baby that's that big, it starts getting a little more realistic that they can survive really well outside the womb. I've also since had a non-stress test. I've had a growth ultrasound, both of which are coming back very normal, very good. Amniotic levels are really good. So I have a feeling baby is going to make it in there for a while. Now, with that being said, I actually, after the growth sound, had to meet with the doctor, and they're recommending induction for me at 39 weeks due to baby size and due to the risk of keeping them in there any longer with me being high risk. And so we don't know how long we will be there. However, baby during the ultrasound also had a head that was so low. The ultrasound tech was telling me I've only ever seen a head this low with like 39-week patients. So baby's getting ready, baby's preparing, and we have no idea when they're gonna come. It could be tomorrow, could be a week from now. At the latest, it's going to be about 3 weeks, 4 weeks from now, but it's happening soon, and my body's getting very, very ready, which is crazy to me. One of the takeaways that I will say with this whole story and with this whole experience is you know your body best. I feel like when I originally had thought about, am I going into labor? Are these contractions? There's a little voice in the back of my mind that was telling me, you know what these are. This is what it feels like. This isn't cramping. This isn't Braxton Hicks. But I ignored it. And because I ignored it, I actually put myself in a more dangerous position with baby. Luckily, everything turned out okay. But if I kept ignoring it, it certainly would not have. So if you're questioning yourself, if you're watching this video because you're like, am I in labor? Is this cramping? Is it Braxton Hicks? Just go in and get checked. Okay, I did that whole video and then I just realized that my outro got cut off. Hey Frank, you coming back? Come back to say bye? Yeah, but I wanted to go ahead and outro it. I am so glad you watched the video. If you liked it, go ahead and leave a like below, subscribe, leave a comment if you have anything to say, or if you've been in a similar situation or have any advice for mamas going through a similar one. I will be updating as I go along. Birth vlog is coming very soon. I can feel it. So make sure you subscribe and stay in tune for that. But with that being said, I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and I'm so glad I got to see you. Bye.